We have seen in the first chapter. In the first chapter, we have seen a sequential control structure, data types, and how printf and a scanf function works, right? How to write simple program, that we have seen in the first chapter. We know that each statement of the program was getting executed in the first chapter. In the second chapter, we saw the decision control structure where we used to take decisions. And when we take decision, all statements of the program were not getting executed. Sometimes if block was getting executed, sometimes else block was getting executed. If else ladder was there, then certain part of the program was absolutely not getting executed. So we move one step ahead than the sequential program. Now we are into the third phase of this. Okay. And second type of control structure, what we call it is the loop control structure. Right? Loop control structure. As the name signifies, then we know that loop is something happen repeatedly in our day-to-day lives. We have put many of our activities into the loop, right? Today we wake up in the morning, tomorrow we wake up, okay? So waking up each morning, that is a kind of loop. In the afternoon we take lunch, in the evening we take dinner, again afternoon we take lunch, in the evening we take dinner. That is again a kind of a loop, because these are repetitions. At certain intervals we are repeating those. When we write a program, when we try to solve problems, it may happen that we need to perform some task repeatedly, right? So in that case, we need loop control structures. And Dennis Ritchie has provided that. As I told you numerous times, these control structures were carried forward by language developers, that is a Beyond Strauss too, Java language developers. So these loops are very important. It will help you to understand uh, concepts not only in C but C++ and Java. And what is the benefit is that, my friends, I have seen almost everywhere when they teach C++ or when they teach Java, teachers teach loops in Java, loops in C++, if else in C++. I don't understand uh, why they teach loops and no decision control structure in while teaching Java and C++. What is point in that? Loops and decision control structures are not at all part of these languages. C++ and Java are something different. Something different need to be taught. This is part of C language. So once it is clear in C, there is no need to learn all these things. Same is there. But I don't understand how it happens around the world. You see any class of Java and C++, they will find lectures on how to write for loop, how to use the if else block and all these things. Rubbish. So what is going to be the primary terminology of the whole chapter? We are going to see there are basically three loops are there. One is a while loop, another is the for loop, third is the do while loop. One special loop is there. We call it as a special loop, but it is not a officially it is not a special loop. So definitely confirm three loops are there: while, for, and do while. C++ has got three loops: Java has got all these three loops, right? Um, Python has got a while loop and for loop, right? They don't have do while loop. Then third statement would be third terminology will be increment and decrement operator. Very important part of these loops. Then again, like if else, there is going to be nesting of loops. So one loop inside another loop, that is going to be there. Since we are now have started learning loops, don't forget that if else control structure may be a part of loop, right? So in the third chapter we are going to implement concept learned in first as well as second chapter. That is the reason I have been telling you, when I start third chapter you should have finished first and second, right? All my videos and all those quiz and assignments, at least some of them. In the fourth chapter, we will use concept learned in first, second, third chapter. Okay. This is for your information. The next is break statement and continue statement. It has got its own significance. Break is used again and continue in C++, Java, or even in Python. Python break statement is there. And special loop is there. I'm going to talk about it. The name is given by me. It is not a technical name. So we'll start with the while loop. Right? While is a loop. Why I'm saying this? Many times student make mistakes. They say if loop. If is not the loop. If is not the loop. If is decision control structure. When I have conducted interviews in the past, or I have conducted, taken orals or Viva examination in engineering colleges, they say if loop. That is wrong, right? And many students. So while is a keyword, new keyword in C. We have seen many keywords in first two chapters. We have seen if, we have seen else, int, char, float, double. All these were keywords. Return, return is also a keyword. So one more addition to our list of keywords. While is a keyword. What is the syntax? Basically, this much is syntax, but I have written the full part of that while uh, loop. So before while there should be initialization of variable. Then while, inside while there is a condition, like if condition, here while condition. But if condition and while condition difference is there. If condition is executed only once, while will be executed many times. Why it is because it is a loop. Like if else, like if block, the while will be followed, while is going to be followed by a pair of curly braces, and inside the pair of curly braces all statements should be there. Which statements? Which you want to execute repeatedly. Repeatedly you want to do something, that everything you will put inside the loop. So this is called whatever written in between pair of curly braces, it is called a while block. Got that? While block. Usually at the end there is increment or decrement, because all these three parts should be there. There should be initialization, there should be condition, and there should be increment or decrement. Simple program I will take to explain this. Simple program I will write. Suppose I want to print numbers from 1 to 10, simple. Okay, then we will one more, one of the way, as of now, on the basis of first two chapters, uh, we will write int x is equal to 1. We want to print 1 to 0, right? I will write printf percent d, right, slash n and x, right? Now I will write x is equal to 2, and I will write this statement again, right? Suppose print 1 to 5, right? I will change here 3, 4, and 5, right? Now, if this program is executed, it is going to print 1 to 5. No doubt about that, right? No doubt about that. It will print. But this is not programming. This is not programming. Because we are doing repetitions. We have got a loop control structure. So let's declare int I. Usually I is a very popular name of the variable as far as loops are concerned. I don't know the reason behind this, but I is used, right? It is used generally as a counter variable. So now I will print numbers from 1 to 10. So I will write loop. What was the first step? Initialization. So I will use initialize. Somewhere it has to be initialized, right? Then I will write the condition part of loop part. While what while consider condition should be there. So I is less than or equal to 10. This is condition. Execute whatever is written inside a while. How many times? Till the value of I is less than or equal to 10. It is up to you how to write the condition. And what I want to do, I want to print that. So I will write printf. Okay. I want to print number itself. So I will write percent %d, right? I. So how this loop is going to be executed? This is the initialization part, right? This is a condition part, right? And there should be increment. So I is equal to I plus 1. There should be increment. So this is the increment part, right? So all three parts are there: initialization, condition, and increment. So how does the loop execute? The control will reach here. I is equal to 1. While I is less than or equal to 10. So as soon as the compiler sees the while keyword, it understands that it is going to enter inside the loop or not. That will be based on decision ahead, right? So as soon as it sees the keyword while, the control goes inside pair of brackets. Pair of brackets must be there, right? Note that it is not terminated by semicolon like if condition. Here I haven't put this semicolon. Notice the value of I, that is 1. 1 is less than or equal to 10, condition is true. So control goes inside, it will print, it will execute this statement. It will print 1. It goes here. What is this statement? I is equal to I plus 1. This statement is invalid in mathematics but valid in C. Why? Because left hand side there is a variable, right hand side there is a expression. I taught you in the first chapter. So current value of I, that is 1. 1 is added to this, right? So expression value of expression will be 2. This 2 will be stored again in Y. So earlier value of I will be removed and new value of I will be stored, that is 2. Now here, as we have put inside the loop, the control will not go outside this loop and go ahead. No, it will not go ahead. It will go again inside the condition. Okay, because this is going to be repeated till this condition becomes false, right? So I value of current value of I is 2 now. 2 is less than or equal to 10. Again my control will come inside. 2 will be printed. Here value becomes 3. Again it will go here. 3 is less than or equal to 10. Again it will go inside. So likewise, sometime in the future, or rather, I'm not saying future, after some time, value of I will become 9, right? 9 plus when 9 plus 1, that is 10. Value of I is 10. Here it comes I. 10 is less than or equal to 10. True. So it will print 10. Again it comes here. 10 plus 1. Value of I becomes 11. Again it will go here. 11 is less than or equal to 10, condition is false. As soon as condition becomes false, the control moves from this statement to next statement. Control will come at the line number 14. Okay. So if I execute this program, it will win. But what has happened? Now you will understand the importance of, you will feel that it is a single digit, because but these are 10 digits. Now you will understand the importance of whatever you put inside the printf statement, like width specifier or a format specifier, everything, or escape sequences. I will put the escape sequence here. I will execute this program again. It will print 1 to 10. If you write here as a 2D, then it will be right aligned. Now it looks nice, right? It looks nice. 1 to 10. Now since this is a loop, okay, whichever you write, suppose write 50, right? It will print 50 numbers because it's a dumb machine. It will do whatever you should tell. Okay, 50. See, it is very fast, right? More than 50,000. See, in a fraction of seconds, loop will be executed 50 times. Now, computer is almost, yes, it is printing. See that? Its speed, we cannot abort that because it has to. Okay, I will close this because we can't wait that much, right? So this is how the loop is executed very fast. Suppose I want to print, suppose I want to print hello 10 times. What I will do? I want to print hello 10 times. See, it is up to you what to tell to the compiler or what to tell the machine, right? You are up to you. So you are a designer, you are a master. You are going to decide what machine should do. Machine will not do anything on its own. So if I want hello to be printed 10 times, I will print here hello, right? I'm not going to print numbers 1 to 10, I just want to print hello 10 times. That's it. It will print hello 10 times. What? Here just I is a counter variable. In the earlier case, I was counter variable as well as printing variable. Okay, I was also data there. It was creating some information. Here, I is just a counter variable. Now, this can be written in multiple ways. This it can be written in three different ways. Uh, Earlier we write percent %d, right, slash n, right, I, right. Now if I write here I is equal to I plus 2, I'm not incrementing by 1, but right, incrementing by 2. What would be printed? Before execution of the program, there is concept called dry run, right? Those who understand the language or those who want to understand the language, they should use dry run. What is a dry run? Dry run is execute that program on a piece of paper, right? A pencil, and execute that program manually. Don't let that to be executed directly by the machine. Machine will execute that. And if machine doesn't execute that, it will give an error. That's it. Right? But you need to understand what how it is executed. So a paper and pencil will help you. That we call it is the dry run. So we need to dry run. We are going to run that with the dry run method. So what is the value of I? That is 1. 1 is less than 10. Yes, it will go inside. It will print I. So 1 will be printed. I is equal to I plus 2. So now I will become 3. 3 is less than or equal to 10. Yes. So 3 will be printed. So it will print values from 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Got that? So it is a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. It doesn't print 11. Why? Because when value of I becomes 11, 11 is not less than 10. Right? Now, to print numbers from 1 to 10, we write 1. Now, here there are three ways to increment the variable. This is one method. Another is this method. 1 plus equal to 1 plus equal to, right? 1 plus equal to. This is a this is called a compound operator. This statement is internally converted into I is equal to I plus 1. This is called a compound operator. This compound operator can be used for other operators as well. Other operators. So it can be I minus equal to 1, I multiplied equal to 1, that is there, right? And third way of writing this increment is I plus plus. This is a unary increment operator in C. Unary operator. Plus equal to and that I plus 1, all these were binary operators. This is a unary operator. So value of I will be incremented by 1. This plus plus is the most popular operator. It is supposedly very fast. Execution is usually fast because on the basis of research made, I is equal to I plus 1 is slower than I plus equal than the compound operator. and compound operator is slower than I plus plus increment operator. Right? Now this plus plus increment is the value of I by 1. Now this can be I plus plus or a plus plus I. I'll first execute this. I'll show you first of all this thing. I equal to 1. Right? So it will be executed. I plus equal to 1. And third is I plus plus. So this is executed, it is executed. Now there is a one limitation of I plus plus over other two operators. That is I is equal to I plus 1 and I plus equal to 1. I is equal to I plus 1. You can write I is equal to I plus 2, I is equal to I plus 3 like that. You can increment by any digit. Similarly, compound operator you can write I plus equal to 1 or I plus equal to 2. It is possible. Okay. But as far as this unary increment operator is concerned, you can increment only by 1. Right? Now there are two types of this. One is I plus plus and second is plus plus I. Right? This plus plus I is called a prefix. Right? Operator, and this is called a postfix operator. Huh? It's called a postfix operator. Its behavior is changed when these are part of expression. So whether I write I plus plus here or plus plus I, its behavior is same, right? Doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make any difference. But when this is a part of mathematical expressions, its behavior is different, and you have to understand that. Okay, but I'm giving you warning. It takes a lot of time. You need a lot of patience. You need a lot of desire to learn, understand all these things, and you can master this by solving my quiz questions only. Even though I speak on plus plus I operator, prefix and postfix, even for 2 hours, it is not going to help that much. To master over all these things, to understand intricacies of all these things, you need to watch my videos given to you through a animated course, and you need to attempt those quiz. You are going to make a lot of mistakes in the quiz, no problem. I have made also mistakes in my past, but that is the way to learn intricacies of these operators, right? Now, uh, when when you used any loop, like we have seen the while loop, often students ask me question which one is the best loop, which loop is the best one. There is no any a strict formula which loop is to be used where. As far as programmers are concerned, for loop is very popular among programmers, but uh, it is programmers no insight, what I can say, to use the loop intelligently, uh, to find the situation, to use the appropriate loop, and it is just outcome of uh, practice. Okay? So there is no specific rule. I hope the structure of this loop you have understood, right? I will write a simple program here to explain you the while loop, right? Mm, Right. The objective of the program is to find um, square root of to find square of a number. Simple program to find square of a number for five numbers. Got that? So we want to find square of five numbers. So I will declare one variable as int I, that is going to be a counter variable. I will declare a variable as a num, right? And I want to find the square, right? I want to find the square of a number entered by the user. I will write initialize loop first. I is equal to 1, right? I will write while how many days I want to be how many numbers square of numbers I want 5. I said 5. I set this loop to 5, right? I mean I want to make 5 repetitions, that's all, right? And inside loop I will write everything now, which is a part of body of the loop. I will write here printf, everything I will write here printf enter number, right? I will put the slash t scanf percent d. I will write here ampersand num. So whatever number stored will be inside the variable num. I will write here square is equal to num into num, right? That is square. Right here printf square of, see how I am writing the printf statement. Square of percent d is percent d. The same sequence should be there. Square of percent d, that means square of the number entered by the user. So write the same variable name here, num, comma, and that square, right? And right here I plus plus, right? That is the increment. So there is a condition, there is a initialization, there is a condition, there is a increment. You are going to forget this always in your future. I am warning you, and even though I am giving you a warning, you are going to make mistakes. Okay, note it. You are going to forget this. So I will run this code. Enter numbers. I will enter 6. The square of 6 is 36. Enter number 8. That is 64, 45, and 12. And then one more number is there. Right? 4 numbers they entered. Got that? Loop is executed. Program stop. Right? So that is how we repeat task. Right? So whether you write I plus plus or I is equal to I plus 1, same way it happen, right? Or you can write I plus equal to 1, that's it, right? So that is how the loops are executed. Um, we will stop here today. Tomorrow, before I start for loop, all videos till while loop should be finished. Okay, at least once, watching only once, those should be finished, because things will be more complicated tomorrow. Intentionally I am not taking it today, Okay, when I come to the for loop, lot of complexities are going to be there. Even though you have learned C in the past, I'm quite sure what I'm going to teach you tomorrow, nobody should have taught you this all these things. Okay, so intentionally I wanted to actually cover for loop also today, but intentionally I'm taking a break. So tomorrow we will continue. If you have got queries on, okay, so friends, any questions?